Welcome back, children of the night, to Blood and Syrup, a Vampire the Masquerade Lies Play podcast. I am your host, Count Vlad von Lestat, drinker of blood, keeper of the chronicle, and all-around a spooky dude. While Iris was off on her own side quest, the rest of the Coterie met with Sergeant McGregor in the graveyard. Everett found out Jocelyn St was continuing her vampire killing spree, and Billy Kincaid was in the hospital. Or Ridley makes plans to expand his taxicab empire and impersonate a doctor to get access to Everett's wounded friend. Can they save Billy Kincaid from the wounds Iris unknowingly inflicted upon her? Abandon hope, all ye who listen here.
Ridley and Everett, it's not your first time in a mortal hospital since turning. You've actually frequented these quite a bit. And unfortunately, as we determined last time, the one you're headed to is not one that is in the DeSanti family, although he's got his eyes on it. Instead, you find yourselves in your trusty Dinkeldorf cab being driven cross town by your old friend, Little Timmy Jones, who is dealing with some consternation because he just got cut off by a guy with an Uber sticker in the back window. So he's mid-monologue saying, oh, yeah, it's fine that you want to drive, but, all of us drive, and I had to pay for this license, and if I'd known, I could have just bought a sticker. Maybe I just would have done that and put it in my back. I mean, you see some guys who got Lyft and Uber, I guess that means they can drive for both, but it seems like a Capulet and Montague situation, from the play Romeo and Juliet, and I don't really know I'm not a political guy, so I don't really know if I want to pick a side. Hey, you guys are going to the hospital, right? Are you guys okay? Do you need like a sick bag? I got one up here. Normally I keep it for me. Sometimes I get a little road sick, but it's only when I try and listen to podcasts.
No, if you could just take as many turns as possible in getting to the hospital, that would be ideal, I think.
Oh, yeah, okay, sure. Okay, yeah, not a direct route kind of guy. See, that's the kind of thing you just can't get in an Uber or a Lyft because, they follow the little computer screen and it never lets you turn left or right. And if it does, it gets real mad at you, which I wouldn't mind because it's just a computer, but it kind of sounds like my mom. And I'm kind of worried I'm letting her down. She's got a certain tone and it kind of tells me, you missed that turn back there. And I'm like, I know, Mom, I'm trying. Okay, well, I'll just hang left here then. All right, it's going to be a few minutes. Sorry, I'm going to concentrate on hang on. Okay, great. All right. I just got to concentrate on driving if I'm going to be making all these turns. I'll let you know if we need the sick bag so you can hold your breath so you don't have to smell anything. I can roll down the windows, but it really doesn't help that much. So I'm just going to focus for a bit. Sorry, guys. I know you're both conversationalists, and this is part of the experience of the Dinkeldorf cabs, but I'm going to have to take a break.
I got to say, he's growing on me. Like, over time, I'm starting to like him.
Thank you, he says after like an active pause as he makes another turn.
Yeah, look, so I think we should review how we approach Billy here. She's a police officer, might even have some cops kind of camped out, watching over her or something like that. Are you comfortable with that?
Well, I mean, I'm a doctor, right? Like, I'm Dr. Beef. Get the fuck out of the way. I got to save your friend or whatever.
Yeah, I'm just saying, if they say no, what does Dr. Beef do? Does Dr. Beef kill someone?
Well, I mean, I've got these new gloves. Like, I want to use them. Like,
I thought those were more for vampires than for regular folk.
Well, only ship in a storm is what they say. But
that's not what they say about punching people to death. What?
I'm agreeing with you. I don't think we need to just kill a bunch of police officers in the middle of downtown for ultimately the purpose of making sure someone's okay. That feels kind of stupid. Yeah. I apologize. The gloves are staying in the fucking holster. What do you want to do? Cops.
Well, I think we make the regular approach, the Dr. Beef approach. And if that doesn't work, I think we try climbing in through the window.
Okay.
Because if we can't talk our way through, I don't see why we need to force our way in just yet. We can sneak in.
Well, I mean, what are you going to say? Because, I mean, I'm just going to go in and try to look like a doctor, but you're just some guy in a suit.
I mean, I know Billy Kincaid. We've met.
Wait, is she married?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Well, Mr. Kincaid, I think we need to take you in so you can see your wife.
That seems like a bold choice. I'm sure her colleagues would know her husband, or even if she's married or not.
Yeah, but her colleagues are going to be fucking flattened by cars and shot by the beer boys. Like, they're not going to be around. These are just going to be fucking stiffs who are standing there.
All right, I guess we can make that assumption. Anyway, look, we're trying to get her to make the orphans patsies on Dr. Skull's murder.
Yeah, that's fucking smart. What if we dress you up like a nurse? We get you in a fucking hallway. We get you in scrubs and shit.
Sure. It really doesn't matter to me how I'm dressed for this. Just so long as we don't hurt too many people, not for the reasons you're thinking. It's just, we don't need the attention right now.
No, I've agreed with you on that. It would just be a distraction at this point, and it would bring heat on us, and we don't fucking need that. We want the heat on the orphans.
Yeah.
So if anything goes bad, we yell, "Go orphans!" And then we get the fuck out.
All right, yeah, that we'll keep that in our back pocket too, I guess. God, I hope we don't have to do that. Does that work? In your experience as a gangster, do you say go other team and then the cops are on them?
Well, I mean, cops are fucking dumb. So I don't know. I've never seen it directly work, but it can't do any fucking harm.
All right.
Imagine if someone else committed a crime and they were like, "Everybody check out the fucking waiting room in that DeSantis hospital." Somebody'd go fucking knock on the door and then I'd have to fucking eat them.
Yeah, I guess there's some kind of twisted sense to that.
Well, if someone committed a robbery at a bank and they yelled the name of a gang and an address going out the door and you were given a case, would you go check the address or no?
It would be my duty to investigate any and all leads. So, yeah.
Yeah, well, neither of us are fucking citizens of this country. You fucking won't know anything from fingerprints or whatever. And on videotape, we could be fucking anyone if we're dressed like hospital employees. So, bingo, bango, bongo, fuck the orphans.
Right, yeah, fuck the orphans, yeah. Let's try doctor and nurse first. How's that sound?
Yeah, that's what I want to do too. This feels nice, It's circuitous, but we're coming around to the place where we started, and I feel safer there.
Yeah, well, speaking of circuitous, are we there yet there, little Timmy?
And you see the hospital, and there's a fucking line of cars and people kind of leading up to the entrance. There's a lot of people crowded around. You can see, much like after any major disaster, there's vigil walls with pictures of missing people, and it's pretty crowded. That said, because he's dropping you off, he's able to get pretty close. So he just turns the final corner, and after a moment of silence says, yeah, so the hospital's right up there. Also, it's port in a storm.
Any port in a storm?
Yeah, earlier you said a ship in a storm. The saying is port in a storm when you punch someone to death, I guess.
No, I still don't think it applies.
Oh, okay. I mean, I've never heard it applied to that either, but based on the doctor's opinion, I mean, I'm inclined to trust doctors. They generally know what they're talking about. Listen, guys, I got to stop here because this is as close as I'm going to get. But if we want to pick up this doctor chat later, I can look it up on a Bing search, and we can kind of see what's what. But I'll make sure to do that for your next ride. If you need me, I guess I'll just park as close as I can. It looks like the visitor parking's full, so. I think there's a Coffee Time Donuts a little ways from here. I could maybe park there, but I might have to buy a donut.
Is the vehicle in motion still?
He's just pulled up to stop.
Okay, I'm leaving. I'm getting out.
Yeah, okay. I'll see you later then. Good luck, I guess. Thank you for... he closed the door. All right, well, guess it's just me and Coffee Time. And the cab slowly pulls away.
I got to get out too. He climbs up the side door and goes.
You see... they're right. I should use my rear views more. Oh, well, okay. Can only fail forward. You sure he drives away. So you find yourself standing outside the hospital. The front doors are there's some police and looks like some kind of hired security from some kind of firm, just kind of doing crowd control. There's barricades set up. They're obviously trying to carve out space for the ambulances to get in and out. The ambulances are likely dropping off elsewhere, but every entrance seems to be swarmed by people. But bit of a heavy crowd situation.
Ridley is pretty like crafty, and he's probably had to get into and out of a lot of places. Can he like eyeball the building to see if he can find the way that he thinks to be the most likely to get in, just either to not be paid attention to or where he could bluff the strongest?
Yeah, dog. Give me a wits and streetwise.
Dope. Oh, that is 3 successes, 2 of them on 10s, but no hunger dice. So just a regular successy.
Regular successy.
Yeah, I don't like it either.
It's like all the air going out of a balloon or a record player slowly dying.
Yeah.
or tape stretching.
All
other
you hear is,
references that people born in the 1980s. It's like when your Spotify playlist is played on increasingly slower speeds until it sounds bad and you press stop.
It's like when you open the wrong YouTube lyric video and it's a knockoff.
Yeah. Cool. That's still a tremendous amount of successes though. So Ridley, this is actually a pretty good scene for you. You're pretty happy that it's this crowded. This much chaos means there's a lot of opportunity. More importantly, it seems as though with the mix of hired security and police, likely a lot of people who don't recognize every face coming through. So when you've kind of done this sort of stuff previously, there's advantages to both, but there is a certain advantage to the anonymity of a crowd rather than having to just walk in through the front door and be like, I'm a doctor, don't mind me, I'm British. There's likely a little bit more room. Also, given the amount of crowding and chaos, the odds of unfamiliar doctors, perhaps, from other places might be present as well. So to your mind, there's likely a physician's entrance and exit, like a staff entrance and exit, kind of off to one side. It is very heavily guarded. So basically your options are heavily guarded staff entrance that you actually, from your playing by Hitman rules, based on your outfit and kind of your rough plan, would be theoretically easier to get through, but the security is tighter. So they might ask you questions that you might not have answers to, but there's no mob and you're dressed like a doctor. Alternatively, you can try and go in through the front door. There's the full crowd there. So there's other potential distractions. Plus, once you're inside, it'll be harder to get to where you want to go because as a doctor, you probably should have come through the side entrance. So those are your 2 major vectors. To Everett's earlier question, windows are a possibility, but you'd need to find a place that you'd probably need to create a distraction in order to get around the side of the building and climb up, just because there's so many people that there are kind of eyes everywhere. It's a dumb example, but honestly, this like the best visual for this is like imagine a film premiere. So there's like a little bit of a quarantined off zone and then just a fucking mob of people kind of stretching out. So unfortunately, if you go down a back alley, there's still people kind of back there, taking a leak while they wait to get in, having a smoke, like generally milling about, kind of waiting for their chance to get in.
All right, so we can go in the front and everybody's a bit fucking confused. It might take us more time to find Billy, or we go in a fucking VIP entrance, but they seem to know what the fuck's going on, so it could be harder to get in.
Well, I don't think Billy's going anywhere.
I fucking echo the sentiment. There's no rush right now. More importantly, we don't get fucking caught in this fucking circus. Okay, so Tom, well, he'll just start marching towards the front door.
Okay, amazing. So you reach the crowd and they're, jostling, looking around. What's your tactic for getting through? You bowling through? You try and talk your way through? What's up?
I think Ridley'd be bowling through, just yelling, I'm a doctor. I need to do my fucking job. Get the fuck out of the way, you animals. He's just shoving people left and right.
Cool. Can I get an intimidation from you, sir? With, I think, manipulation. Or resolve. I'd also take resolve. I feel like you're just a fucking bowling ball, just like going through the pins.
That is 4 successes out of 5 with 2 10s.
We got to get you fucking hungry, man. We're missing out on some truly mestacular success.
Ridley would have killed everyone in the hospital already.
Yeah, you need that vitamin C pack. You just ate everyone. Great. So you're just barreling ahead. Everett, Ridley just fucking takes off like a bolt. Are you just doing that like crowd control VIP thing where you just kind of like rush along behind him? Are you trying to do something else? What's your plan?
I'll follow him in his wake that he creates in the crowd.
Great. All right. Well, with that many successes, I think your like Danny DeVito height and sort of squatness mixed with your general strength and the fact that you're dressed like a doctor and the fact that you're yelling in a Cockney accent, which still somehow in our colonialist country still somehow carries like an unnecessary amount of authority, maybe because every historical figure we've ever met in a movie has one. People are like getting out of the way.
Because the Americans are afraid of them.
Yeah. Well, I mean, honestly, the French, perhaps, or just angry. Either way, they're just getting bumped out of the way. But you are yelling in French, so it's fine. Anyway, everyone clears out, and you make your way towards the door. You reach the doors, and immediately a cop kind of saunters out in front of you. He kind of looks you up and down and just says, hi, doctor. What are you doing coming in through the front door? Did you get lost?
My name's Dr. Richard Johnson. I've been called in from the airport. I'm a trauma surgeon. They told me I needed to be here, but they don't have my fucking info over there. I need to get in. There's someone on the slab, and they ain't going to make it if I don't get in here, talk to the head nurse, and get where I need to go.
Well, that sounds pretty bad. All right, I'll call that in. What kind of doctor did you say you are? So I can get them to prep the right unit?
I'm a trauma surgeon. The trauma's already happened. We don't have time to call this in. I'm telling you, I scrubbed up. We got to go.
All right, give me another intimidation and manipulation. Actually, no, I guess you're going with persuasion. You're not really intimidating him.
If you fuck this up, someone's going to die, and I'll sue you till you don't own any fucking pants.
Intimidation!
I need that extra die.
Ryan, I do just want to clarify one thing before you roll this, though, for difficulty's sake. I guess you guys haven't gotten any tussles since you left, so your doctor outfit would still be relatively clean. Is that fair?
Correct.
Okay, great. So when you say you've scrubbed up, it actually tracks, not like the alternative version that I ran briefly in my head that I needed to confirm that like you're like covered in blood and dirt and just like, I'm scrubbed up. And he's like,
no, he's perfectly clean, but he looks like a burn victim. Like he is heavily injured still.
But again, British. So like, what are you going to do? He's probably got 5 PhDs. No MDs, but 5 PhDs.
I have 3 successes this time.
All right, you just make it. He kind of shakes his head and he's like, all right. You can head on in. Just next time, side door, we'll get you in faster. No, come on, go save some lives. And he like slaps you on the back.
Excellent. Come with me, assistant. He says. He just grabs Everett in his suit and hauls him inside.
Everett, can you roll me a subterfuge and wits, please?
Subterfuge gives me 0. Wits gives me 4.
Yeah, we haven't seen Everett play a game of like fucking Jeopardy because he would kick ass. He's witty, smart. We've just never seen it.
That's 2 successes. One of them is a 10 and it's on a hunger die, but I don't think that amounts to anything because there's no other crits.
No, you need a second 10.
Yeah.
Regular successy. Curse this YouTube channel. Okay.
Hey, Zoom.
As Tyler, as Everett gets pulled forward, you get that look that people get in movies when they're worried that there are like double agents everywhere. Or the cop just kind of like his eyes narrow a little bit and he seems to just be kind of giving you a look. You realize that based on the earlier baby napping incident, there may well still be record of what you look like and kind of like rough descriptions of you. So this cop kind of gives you the look, but you're clever enough to kind of like look away and kind of duck behind someone. Happily, Ridley is a big enough distraction, and also there's still people trying to get in that the cop turns back. But you realize that you must tread lightly amongst the Montreal police. Although perhaps this guy's just super sharp. Not that you know it from the way he dealt with Ridley, but maybe. That said, you have made it successfully into the hospital. So Ridley, you're stalking forward because you've declared yourself a trauma surgeon. Where do you go?
Ridley is looking for he probably just keeps stalking. Like, I feel like he's going to do that thing that we've all done while working a job that we do not want to be stopped at. You just look important and busy. He's trying to find a nursing station that's really out of the way. Basically, he wants a computer that he can give access to Everett, because Ridley can't fucking read, so a computer is an expensive box. But if there's a computer that Everett can talk to, or if they can get like a nurse on their own, he wants somebody that they can kind of like barnstorm and keep distracted while getting information.
Right. Okay. As Ridley's casting around for that, Everett, as someone who's privy to this plan, which of those two options do you think you would pursue?
Computer.
Okay. So you do see a terminal. It is currently manned by sort of like a nurse, an orderly, and just a really bedraggled doctor. And she's just saying like, okay, well, I don't know, move them around, just put in more beds. I don't know. And the nurse, he just kind of rolls his eyes and he's like, look, doc, we put as many beds in as we can. We just got to start discharging people. And the orderly just kind of nods and says, yeah, well, what he said. They seem to be having like a little argument about where to put people. Everett, you can probably get to this computer. They're not like standing over the computer. They're discussing near the computer, but you'll definitely need a distraction. So I would suggest, Ridley, you're going to have to deal with the doctor, the nurse, and the orderly, while Everett, you slip up to the computer.
Are there people like lining the hall, Tom, or anything, or is this just like
inside
an empty hallway?
It's a little less chaotic just in this sort of entry area. You're still like pretty much in the central lobby, so it's actually pretty big and airy. You get the sense that look like kind of as you look down the halls, you can see there are people like sitting against the walls. There's definitely like injured people kind of everywhere, but in this front area, they've tried to keep it as clear as possible so they can move people through it at pace.
As he's looking in the nearby rooms, Ridley is hoping that he could see someone who is unconscious, who has one of those beeping heart monitors on. Can he see someone like that?
Sure. Roll me an awareness or I'd say awareness or investigation. And I think probably resolve.
2 successes.
Okay. You don't find someone unconscious, but you do find someone hooked up to one of the beep beep machines. They are currently watching an episode of Seinfeld.
What do they
kind of?
What do they look like?
They are a sort of older guy. Looks like he's in his like probably early 70s. Kind of got sweeping hair, bit of a supercilious smirk on his face. He looks vaguely familiar. You can't quite place him. And he's just chuckling to himself. He's like, that Kramer, very funny. I'll have to tell my brother Jean about this. It's funny because he doesn't respect the boundaries of his neighbors.
So Ridley is just going to go and take the chart that'll be either on the door or at the foot of the bed or whatever, and kind of hold it up between him and the guy and go over and look at the heart machine and just be like, oh, so I can see you dealing with any chest, but what do you do for a living?
Oh, hey. Oh, look at this guy. Hey, what happened to your face there, bud? Did you lose a fight with a George Foreman grill?
Oh, this is perfect. And then he just like to clock him one real hard in the head, because now that the guy's rude, he feels like he can hit him.
Yeah, you punch him at the same time that Kramer throws open a door and it bangs a wall. So no one hears it. And he just like flips up and off the bed. He's pretty frail under the covers.
Oh, fuck me. All right. He's going to circle around.
He's just laying face down. The back of his apron's open. You can see his butt. It's real gross.
He would just like to reach down, and if he's got the heart monitor thing on, he just wants to unplug one of them and see what happens.
Sure. It goes from beep, 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 beep to a classic beep.
Okay, and he's just going to run out into the hallway and be like, the guy's dying in here. We need a team. Stat code blue.
And the people from the computer are just like, wait a minute. Is that... Oh, crap. It's the former prime minister's brother's room. Quick, everyone to Shankar Chan's room. And they all rush in desperately, and like someone comes like running by with a fancy blanket, and they're just like, "Oh no, we got overstimulated by Seinfeld again." And they start causing a kerfuffle. Everett, you have
Ridley
your
Ridley just turns to Everett, gives him a wink and a thumbs up, and then he's like, "I's dying. We're all gonna get sued." Like he's just yelling things to
like, how did he get off the bed? So Everett, you sidle up to the computer terminal. I don't think we've ever rolled this before, but I'm going to need a technology check.
Combined with what? Because right now I'm not rolling any dice if we're doing a technology check.
Just start bashing your hands on the keyboard. I think I would take intelligence or resolve, I think.
Okay. So this is an all hunger dice roll.
2 10s. 2 10s. Come on, baby.
All fails. 2 5s and a 2.
Oh no, the motherfucker is password protected. You quickly start typing, and it blinks angrily at you. You quickly look around the terminal, seeing if anyone's left a convenient video game post-it note with a code on it. They have not, but, and here's just an underhand pitch to you, sir. You can roll me an investigation with resolve, please.
Okay. Okay. One, two, three, 4 successes.
There you go. So you quickly look around. You're beginning to panic, and you see the nurse is like, as everyone else is rushing in to help Jean Chrétien, he's looking at his phone, and he's got a just like a little Hello Kitty dongle hanging off of it. And so in an act of just pure desperation, you just punch in Hello Kitty and hit enter. You remember being relatively pissed off when Harvey insisted on explaining why these things had started showing up in cafes near you. And he thought they were very charming, except he kept calling it Hello Cat. So it just kind of got stuck in your head. So you quickly type in Hello Kitty, and sure enough, the terminal opens and you are in. If you had an earpiece and you were hacking, you could tell the team, "I'm in."
Right.
So you are in. It is a bit of a mess, but you're obviously able to search for Kincaid. She's on the 3rd floor. Because she is a cop, she's in slightly better rooms than anyone else. You'd been told she was in a coma, and it would seem that she is stable but unconscious.
All right. And I'll just like exit out of everything. So it's like back to like the main screen. And then I'll lock the screen and I'll start walking down the hallway towards Ridley.
Great. Ridley, the Prime Minister's brother, Jean Chrétien, is kind of like in a daze. Doctors are rushing around being like, what's wrong with him? And one of them turns to you and it says, "Doctor, what?"
Ridley's the fuck out of here.
Where'd that other doctor go?
I'm going to help them prep the OR. And then he just fucking books it because he does not want to deal with this fucking guy.
And you just hear someone be like, "Hey, if you see Deadpool, you got to stop him. Also, can you believe that George is trying to date 2 women? What a world!" You book it down the hall to catch up to Everett. I think it's one of those like Everett holding the elevator door. You just kind of slip in, and the two of you have a moment. So 3rd floor is where a lot of the cops who were injured during the Inquisition raid are. So it's going to be a pretty police-heavy floor. You have not obtained nurse scrubs, so currently it's detective in very nice detective clothes. And
can Ridley hit the 2nd floor button so that we get off before the 3rd?
Sure. Yep.
It's like, okay, so we need to dress you up, no? Like, we got to get you out of this. Because that guy by the front, he fucking looked at you weird, mate. I don't like it.
Yeah, I noticed that too. They probably have a police sketch of me from when I was taken in by the cops and Jocelyn freed me.
Okay, so if we switch you over to some scrubs, we could put one of those fucking surgical masks on you. We'll put another one on me, and then we can go up. But if someone has to demask, no one's got to paint you, and me fucking burnt this shit, so we should be okay.
Yeah, and hopefully this, bullet hole in my head won't be, too obvious.
Okay, we're going to get you one of those surgical caps, too. We're just going to fucking cover you up, because that is not good.
No, it's not a good look.
Also, I had to punch an old man. I didn't want to do it, but he was a little bit rude, so it felt all right.
All right, man. There's going to be cops all over this floor when we go to see Billy. All right, so you gotta get that shit out of your system.
Yeah, no. I was unsettled down there. Upstairs, subtle as fuck. I'm going to be fucking a prince among men. I'm going to make friends. Maybe we'll bribe someone. It'll be so classy.
All right, I hope so.
And with that, the elevator doors open, and you find yourself in a ward just packed with people. There are just people everywhere. You realize it's going to be pretty hard to steal an outfit. What do you do? This is like all the civvies are here. So it's just like lining the walls, rooms are overstuffed. There are nurses and doctors kind of running from room to room.
So I'm thinking we try the 4th floor. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm good with that. Yeah.
So look at the elevator.
Right,
the 4th
3 floor attempts later, you finally find a floor with a lot of the chronic patients. Within a few minutes of searching, you're able to find just like a supply closet with extra scrubs. I was going to make you roll a bunch of stuff, but if you're just going to keep going to different floors and checking out different doors, I think we can skip like knock. Like I want to basically just skip the Feast for Crows portion of this, where it's just like, hi, I'm Brienne of Tarth. I'm going to go door to door looking for a character we are aware is on a different continent. Knock. Hi, looking for this person. Not here. Well, shit. All right, I'll see you in a few. So yes, you scrub up. The elevator doors close dramatically. They reopen, and Dr. Beef and Nurse Fry are ready to rock. With that, you begin heading down the hallway. Billy's in room 327. So you make your way towards that. As you approach, there are a couple cops out in front, just kind of obviously keeping an eye on the space. But that was to be expected. The two of you kind of like take a moment, nod to each other. You've done this bit before. And you confidently stride towards them, completely unaware of the pair of eyes that tracks both of you as you walk down the hall, and the thin, fanged grin that spreads across his face. Ridley and Everett, you are striding purposefully down the hallway towards 2 cops who are guarding Billy Kincaid's room. Ridley, you are, of course, dressed as Dr. Beef, famed litigious trauma surgeon. Everett, you are dressed as unnamed nurse, possibly an extra in a medical drama. As you approach the doors, you hear a thin voice behind you just say, gentlemen, he is with us. You may step aside, please. And the 2 cops just kind of nod and make way. Turning, there is a think like a bit of a Steve Buscemian Boardwalk Empire type guy, but like if you got real into steroids, kind of walking along behind you. So like that height and frame, but jacked. He's wearing an impeccable suit that is very loud in the wrong ways. Like it's not a loud color, but just like everything about it just kind of grates slightly. The shoulder pads are a little too large. He's clearly stuffed into it. And he is improbably wearing a coat slung over his shoulders. He just sort of smiles thinly at you with his little John Waters mustache, and says, Mr. Ridley Beef, I believe.
Well, you believe correctly, because that seems pretty knowledgeable. Nice to meet you. And Ridley will just offer a hand.
He kind of looks down, and it's one of those things where you can tell that he doesn't. It's that sort of classic germaphobe thing where like he looks at your hand for just a hot second, and then his eyes kind of dart up to you, and almost imperceptive, but like you caught it. And then he kind of extends and gives you a firm handshake in the way that only super jacked people can, where it's just kind of like he is unaware that it's a vice grip and also doesn't seem to be applying pressure. That said, you're also a hardy fellow, so to you, this is just kind of like the first proper handshake you've had since you got here. He just kind of smiles and says, I believe your friend is a little bit concerned about the well-being of Officer Kincaid. You may go in and speak to her. We have someone to help facilitate for you. If you don't mind, I would like to speak to, I suppose Mr. Ridley isn't exactly correct based on your current guise. Would you prefer doctor or perhaps surgeon beef?
Well, I mean, we're between friends here. I don't think we need to have fake titles between friends. You can just call me Ridley.
Very good.
Everett, you go on ahead. I'm going to make you a new friend here. So what's your name, friend?
My name is Damian Black. I am here from mutual friends of ours, the Note Nostra. And Ridley, I come with some rather important updates about our clandestine organization and how you fit into it. If you wouldn't mind, I have arranged for us to have some privacy in this room. And sure enough, there is a room, there's a blood splatter against one wall, and a crumpled body in a nightgown, along with a bed that has been meticulously remade.
All right. So I think Ridley will just go in to have this chat. He's not going to worry about the mess. That's somebody else's fucking problem.
Absolutely. Meanwhile, Everett, you sort of see Ridley go to deal with this fucking steroided out weirdo. And sure enough, the two cops kind of nod to you. You notice a few details on these guys immediately. One of them has his badge kind of improperly stuck on. One of them is adjusting his belt a lot. You can tell that these guys are wearing borrowed clothes. You can see little, like, perhaps with a sort of fast glance, some flecks of blood on one collar. But they both nod to you and grin, and you see fanged mouths before they let you in. Sure enough, inside the room, it's a solo room. It does seem to be a bed that's been pushed into a corner with an unmoving figure on it. But the figure seems to be unmoving. There's no medical equipment around them. It looks like it was a 2-person room, but it's been cleared for your convenience. Billy herself is in pretty rough shape. She's got kind of her arms and legs up in those sort of suspension pieces, in almost a full body cast. Her face is certainly wrapped. But next to her is a very thin, bald woman, who is seems to just be arranging a line of tarot cards along the side of Billy's bed. She is wearing a just kind of a winter parka, which seems a little bit strange at this time of year. But you can tell from kind of how thin and spindly she is that perhaps it's the only thing between her and the elements. As you enter, she smiles, and as your eyes meet, you almost lose your sense of balance. The world just seems to blur almost for a moment, and then come back into focus. She smiles kind of warmly and empathetically, and just says, "I must apologize. I'm afraid my particular brand of this," and she kind of gestures to her fangs, almost in like a vaguely embarrassed way. It says, leads to some disorientation. I do apologize. It's not an intended effect. You're here to see her? And she kind of gestures to Billy.
I am, yes.
Excellent. She has not woken up in many days, and if the cards, and she kind of gestures to the tarot she's lined out, if the cards are correct, it will be a few more before she awakes, even with the small micro doses of the blood that we've managed to give her. It should accelerate her healing somewhat, but we certainly don't want her to blood bond. That would defeat the purpose, I fear.
And how often are the cards correct?
And she just sort of smiles, and it almost the way you would talk to a child. Like, she's not trying to be condescending, but just in kind of one of those, people who are so certain of something. She just says, always depending on your point of view.
Do I need to introduce myself, or do you already know that as well?
She raises a hand and says, my employers were very clear about keeping a degree of anonymity. They are only interested in your friend, your acquaintance, perhaps, Mr. Beef. You and the rest of his associates, we were told not to pry too deeply into, so I will do my best to remain outside of your understanding. My name is Leela, but perhaps I will just call you the nurse, if that suits you.
Well, since Mr. Beef used my name out in the hallway, I might as well say the name's Everett.
Everett Fry, yes, I was being polite. Please, yeah. Mr. Fry, from what we understand, you have a rather tenuous relationship with Mr. Beef. I'm sorry that he shared his secrets out of school, as it were. But rest assured that we will do our best to keep you out of the affairs of our particular organization. Those not in the game need not concern themselves with the game, as I believe Mr. Beef would tell you. Now, you've come to check on the status of your friend, I believe. She is, if I'm not mistaken, a touchstone of a sort, something that keeps you with a somewhat tenuous grasp on your humanity. Is that fair to say?
Well, gosh, I've never really thought of it that way, but I suppose you could say that. Sure.
That is sweet. We all have those, although as time goes on, they slowly slip away. And she kind of like loses herself for a moment, and then shakes her head and she says, I'm sorry, I was just thinking of those I lost. You mostly know it as a film now, but certain sinking boats stand rather large in my estimation. Regardless, Mr. Fry, Officer Kincaid here will not wake up for a few days, but due to my gifts, I can allow you to speak to her. But we would ask that you do keep it relatively brief. Now, I have been instructed to remain out of this, so I will not be present. You may speak freely with her as you would in a private room. I will merely be the conduit with which you may speak directly to her mind. Is that agreeable to you?
It is certainly not how I expected this to go, but I suppose I appreciate your assistance given Officer Kincaid's condition.
Pray tell, Detective Fry, did you intend to whisper sweet nothings in her unconscious ear?
I came to see if she had come around. I had only heard she was in a coma a while ago. I didn't know that she still was.
Fair enough. Yes, the damage she sustained was rather severe. We are very curious about the creature that did this to her. There have been several of its victims here on this floor. We've ascertained what we can. But if we find out anything more, we'll be sure to let Mr. Beef know, and if it is in his best interest, he will let you know. In the meantime, please, and she kind of extends a hand, and Everett, you're alarmed to see as she does so that her hand seems to lack skin. It seems to just be purely veins and muscle. And she says, I do apologize about the surprise, but it is part of my gift, as are the cards, as is this ability.
Before I take her hand, Everett just has one kind of final question. He gestures out the door to the two guards, and back to the cards, and he says, all this is because of that beast, or what is your interest in Officer Kincaid?
She smiles and says, we're actually here for a beast of a different sort. We are curious about the monster that managed to dispatch so many outside of Mr. Malone's bar, but the beast we are here for is Mr. Ridley Beef. My employer, Mr. Black, had some words he'd hoped to speak, and we had crossed our fingers that perhaps if we staked our claim here that you would eventually come along, and lo and behold, you have. And she just taps her deck and says, perhaps I had a hint or two. But if you had not, we merely would have kept Officer Kincaid slowly healing until such time as you did come to visit. Mr. Beef is rather hard to find for a rather unsubtle man.
Right. Well, I guess I'll give this a shot if you're ready.
Yes, and she just says, pardon me, gentlemen, the door, if you don't mind. And there's kind of a slam as the vampires close the door. She says, there, now it's just you and Officer Kincaid. And she reaches out one hand and kind of grasps Kincaid's hand, and you can see the sort of web of veins spread out across her hand and start to pierce the skin.
That's gross, man.
It's a world of darkness, baby. And she extends her hand to you.
All right. And Everett will extend his hand.
Excellent. Join us in the blood. And with that, the web of veins stretches across your hand, and you black out. When you awake, you're kind of lacking a physical body of any sort. It's not in our Dungeons and Dragons show, Dum-Dums and Dice, or Dum-Dums and Dragons rather, we often talk about mind palaces. That's not the situation here. It's instead like being lost in a fog or a mist. So you can kind of get a vague sense of a Billy Kincaid-esque presence, but it's like looking through smoke. It's very, very difficult to see. But her voice just kind of groans, and she's like, "Fuck."
Billy. Can you hear me?
You hear kind of a gentle commotion, and then a quieter, like, "Ah, fuck." She says, "So it's true then. You're one of them, huh?"
I don't know what you're talking about.
I shot
Billy.
you in the head, Everett.
And I fell down dead, Who knows how we're talking?
Okay. So you're not a kindred, you're a ghost. You're some kind of Wraith the Oblivion.
If you're using words like kindred, I guess you know an awful lot than I gave you credit for. Sure, yeah, I'm one of them.
And she just swears under her breath again. She's like, I mean, I didn't necessarily believe it. My partner, McGregor, he kept telling me I was crazy, kept telling me that, vampires weren't real. But, when faced with that much evidence, it's really hard to look the other way. I'd hoped I was wrong. And it's weird to shoot your friend in the head and hope that you killed them. But
that's a hell of a test to administer, Billy, let me tell you.
I mean, the city was on fire there, Everett. I wasn't exactly picking my moments. And clearly you're fine. So fuck me, I guess.
Well, you do look, from where I'm standing, right and proper fucked, by the way.
Yeah. What happened to me?
You're in a hospital bed. You're in a coma.
Okay.
And there are kindred very interested in making sure that you wake up soon. In fact, they're taking some pretty fantastic measures to wake you up. They're going to ask you about that tussle you had outside of Maydays.
Honestly, Everett, I'm going to level with you. I don't feel great about that or this. I didn't see anything. I shot you, and then I got hit by a car.
Well, then, tell them that, I guess.
You really think that a bunch of vampires who've been watching me trying to bring me back to life or whatever the fuck they're trying to do are really going to be satisfied with, I didn't see nothing, I got hit by a car and died?
I mean, they say they've questioned other people. I could look into how they turned out.
Everett, you're a fucking cop. You've seen how this goes. I'm not walking away from this.
I can tell you quite truthfully, I have not seen how this goes.
Okay, so in your
a woman
experience,
with no skin on her hands is linked to psychically, I guess.
Wait, what?
She was reading tarot cards.
Where's her
your
fucking
bed.
skin?
I don't know, Billy.
Why didn't you ask her where her fucking skin is? What's she doing to my
seemed
hand?
Impolite at the time. She
Think
was
impolite? Where's her fucking skin, man?
Look, I feel like I took certain steps to distance us from your world. You know, I came to you with cases. I came to you with intel on real, tangible crimes that were taking place. I don't know what you did talking to McGregor or who else you were talking to that got it into your head that it was okay to shoot me in the face to prove that I was or was not a vampire. But you got yourself into some pretty deep shit too. It wasn't just me.
Tom, the storyteller, is convinced, but Tom, the storyteller who runs the rules of the system, realizes this might be time for a dice roll. So give me a persuasion and I think probably composure. I think
Okay.
you're just laying down the law. You're kind of telling it like it is. You're not wrong. She did shoot you in the head and be like, are you a vampire? Yes, no.
But you are mind trapped within some witch's blood hand. So, you know,
Yeah.
there's a success fail threshold here.
Yeah, you're kind of doing a prom thing, you know, like
Composure and sorry, what was the other piece?
persuasion.
Okay, so nothing. Not a persuasive guy.
Well, let's find out. You very well may be, Everett.
You can't roll investigation. That's the only thing that matters.
3 successes. On 3
who's
dice.
persuasive. So yeah, she kind of like lets out a long breath, and you see kind of the smoky air around you kind of sway with it, and she says, "Yeah, you're right. You're right. McGregor told me to stop, and I didn't. I kept looking, and guess." That old Pandora myth or curiosity killed the cat, whatever other fucking metaphor you want, proved true. So you're right. This is on me. Look, why did you come here? You're right. You threw me some cases and I think we did some good, but why are you here with fucking skinless vein hand lady?
We didn't come together, Billy. She was here when I found you.
No, I get that, but like still, sorry, that's a lot.
I understand. It's first I've seen of it too.
Okay.
Came here to check on you when I heard that you were in a coma, but I'd be lying if I said I didn't have a favor to ask as well. Obviously, you're not in the favor granting position currently.
Oh, I don't know. You want some fucking weird mind smoke? I seem to have lots of that to go around. You can take a to-go bag if you want.
Thanks, Billy. And as you were saying, you don't believe you're long for this world after you wake up. You think they're gonna kill you once they get the information they want from you?
Everett, have you seen a vampire movie? They're gonna drink me or fucking turn me into one of them or do some
Billy,
weird shit.
I'm living the damn vampire movie.
Okay, great.
And
So in
let
your
me tell you,
experience, what are they going to do?
probably ask you questions and wipe your mind. You're
Well,
going to
that's all right.
forget this conversation even happened. I may have to come back again and ask the favor again.
All right. Okay. Well,
There's
listen,
a whole thing going on where a mysterious death of a prominent police sergeant is not what these kinds of people are looking for.
okay. Well, I'll tell you what, you take a doggy bag of weird brain smoke and you show that to me when you come back and I'll remember it. Okay. But look, you're making some sense. All right. I'll tell you what, I was going to ask you to do me a favor.
What's that?
Well, what does your favor require me like waking up and doing stuff, or is it just like
Yeah, no, it's not a please continue to be in a coma kind of favor.
Yeah,
It's
no, I figured. I thought it might be like, tell me who my real dad is or some bullshit. I don't know. I don't know what I could give you, but yeah, all right. Look, I was going to ask you to unplug me because I don't want anything to do with these kindred fucks, and I sure as hell don't want to end up as, I mean, no offense, but you. So it looks like that's off the table. And honestly, you're speaking some sense. If their deal is brain wipes, send you on your way, I can live with that.
I just want us to be doing good for the city again.
Yeah,
I got something to kind of help you out with your orphan problem.
fuck those guys. Okay, look,
They're
here's
a tough
the deal.
nut to crack, and I think I got something that'll help you.
All right.
A very motivated third party who, you know, if they knew that the orphans were responsible for the death of a certain someone, boy, they'd be real helpful in weeding them out.
Everett, I know we don't really know each other that well, but given that you may well be the last person I ever last thing I ever talked to, unless Vane Lady gets chatty.
Hurtful but fair.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. Listen, it's kind of a personal question. Do you believe in heaven? Do you vampires have that? Is that a thing?
I don't know. I know I don't believe in it now.
All right. Well, it's bleak but fair. Look, I do. I was raised that way. I know it's a hard thing to tell people about these days, and it's a hard thing to get behind. But I don't think I could, whatever the afterlife is, if there is one, I don't think I could be happy there. Or if I was in hell, if there is a hell that isn't this, content there either. If I knew I had a chance to stop the orphans and I didn't take it. They've been a plague on the city for as long as I can remember, and they're going to continue to do so. So in the interest of that, I'll do what I can if you can give me that info. But I need you to promise me that if they turn me or whatever the fuck, that you come find me and you kill me. I don't want that. I don't want to live like that. I don't want to be one of those things. But I do want those fucking orphans to pay. And honestly, it'd be pretty fucking great to go out on a high note, you know?
Yeah, I know that.
All right.
I can do that for you. Is there, assuming things don't take a turn for the worse, is there anything I can do for you outside of that as well?
I mean, it sounds like your weird, gross vampire friends are working on waking me up. So that's really my number one right now. You could drop my wife a line, let her know that I'm like not good, but not brain dead. That's a concern. She's a pretty scary lady and probably won't be processing this particularly well. So there's a boxing gym near our house. It's called the Silver Glove. You could swing by there sometime, let her know. And, just tell her all the fucking war movie stuff. I love her. I wish she could come home, blah, blah, blah. Just, I don't know, make some shit up. She's not really that sentimental. Neither am I. So, I don't know. Tell her, keep her gloves up, I guess. Would be great if you could tell her that. Beyond that, yeah, just, I don't know, fucking kill me if vampires come after me. That's a pretty big one. I know that probably doesn't seem like much in your world. Also, you can let McGregor know. I don't know what happened to him, but he seems like wait a minute. Oh, fuck. Is he a vampire too?
Yeah.
God damn it. He always took the night shift. I just thought he was being dramatic. God. Okay. All right. Well, in that case, if you see him, tell him I miss him and he can go fuck himself. But yeah, here's the deal. I want you to repeat your information. I don't know. Give it to me 7 times. I remember fucking reading somewhere it takes 7 times to remember something. Give me that information 7 times, and I'll do everything in my power to clutch onto that and that alone until I wake up. And then even if they wipe my brain, I'll be able to carry that through. Or not, and I just won't know, and you'll have to come back and tell me all this again. But
no, I mean, I don't have anything to base it on, but maybe the kinds of things we talk about down here in the mist, maybe they don't go away so easy.
Sure. Well, hey, look, worst case scenario, you just mentioned that gloves thing. It's not something I tell many folks about, so that'll bring it all back. But I guess pull up some weird brain mist, ignore the weird skinless chick, and you tell me what you got on the orphans. And with that, Everett, you begin to fill Billy in on the admittedly false information. I need from you. Well, I guess here's my question. You're feeding her a lie, right? Because you're setting up the death of Dr. Skull as the orphans.
Yeah.
But she also doesn't have any context for any of that. So I think I'm going to make you roll a check for this, but I'm going to give you advantage because she kind of has to buy whatever you're giving. But I do want to account for the fact that Everett's moral compass might fuck this lie up a little bit.
Well, the way I'm approaching it is that it's not a lie that I'm telling her. Mm-hmm. It's a lie that I'm sharing with her so that she knows it's a lie too. The lie is
okay, never mind then. Yeah.
The lie is that the orphans killed Dr. Skull. Mm-hmm. But the truth of it is we hate the orphans. We want to get rid of the orphans. This is a very helpful way to
never mind
it.
Then. Great. Congratulations. You passed with flying colors. Great. Okay. Awesome. So
best roll ever.
Truly. So you begin to unfold that for her. Meanwhile, in the room down the hall, Damien Black kind of perches on the dead man's bed. And just kind of like pats the side of the bed for you. I personally, I've never had an issue because I don't drive myself. Other people do because I'm a child. So I sit in the passenger seat all the time, and it means that I've gotten very good at like not trying to make eye contact with drivers. Because generally speaking, because I can't drive, I'm like, I'm a burden. So let me at least keep you entertained. Like, I'm not going to read or play a video game or whatever the fuck. I'm going to like talk to you and do whatever you need because you're doing the hard work, and the least I can do is be there. It means I've gotten very accustomed to like the side by side, look ahead and talk. How do you think Ridley feels about the sit shoulder to shoulder and talk thing?
I think Ridley would sit and he's got the same level of personal space as like a child. Like he'll look right at him. He's not off put. I think Ridley gets in a lot of people's personal space to throw them off, but it's not even conscious. He's just so socially clueless that he's right there the whole time. So yeah, he was already sitting down when the pat happened.
Great. He says, it is, I must say, a pleasure to finally meet you, Ridley. Your friend, Mr. Stone, speaks very highly of your time together on the streets. He says you got up to all sorts of gang shenanigans. He does send his regards.
I'm sorry, what?
This is your best friend from the gang from your flashback episode.
But I thought he was dead, right?
You did, yes. You thought everyone died. I forgot that. But Damien also doesn't know. So there we go.
What? I thought he was dead. What the fuck? He's not fucking dead.
No, he is alive and well and recruiting other people like yourself for the Notte Nostra. He is very good at it.
So he's the reason I'm fucking like this?
Well, he is not a kindred himself, Ridley, so he was not able to turn you, but he does help identify talent and help keep our ranks bolstered somewhat.
Well, I don't fucking like that at all, but okay.
I
Okay.
do apologize. I merely meant to remind you of a long-lost friend, not add additional stress to you, as I feel this conversation will be rather stressful enough without that. You see, Mr. Ridley, we have changed things somewhat back across the pond. There has been a slight change in management in the Notte Nostra. Your old handlers, I'm afraid, have met rather bleak ends. Some of them at these hands, but some of them at other people's. You understand the survival of the fittest, I suspect, Mr. Beef. Do you not?
I mean, yeah, I fucking get that. Obviously, this is a room where we don't have to dick around because there's a fucking dead person over there. So, like, why the fuck did you take him out? Were they stupid? Were they turning into the cops? I don't know what the fuck vampire cops are, but I assume they're a thing. What the fuck? Why do we go to war?
It is, I'm glad you used the term we, Ridley, because we do hope that you will be amenable to our new change in management. Some of us just saw more opportunity for ourselves to rise through the ranks. You yourself, I believe, were hoping to become the Prince of Montreal, this fair city of dark miracles. Is that correct?
I mean, I'd never say something so gauche. You know, you got to have reasonable ambitions. All I'm saying is I like to aim high. And if I miss, I still land high.
That is a very nice way of putting it. I couldn't agree more. That is, in fact, why I am here. I came as an official delegation from the Notte Nostra. We had actually lost track of you, I'm afraid, and thought you were dead. We were quite pleasantly surprised at Elysium to learn that you were not. Good job. That was very remarkable. However, it was also to test the grounds. You see, we are not particularly pleased with the return of the Prince of Montreal, nor are we particularly pleased with the newly installed King of Toronto, young Mr. Grayson. As a result, we are here to make some rather large moves. And happily, you are a man who is known for making large moves.
I don't sit on my hands much, I'll tell you that.
With hands as deadly as yours, that would be a tremendous waste of potential. Ridley, I should tell you, before we go much further, that you will not be the Prince of Montreal, nor will the esteemed Montcalm. It is in the best interests of the Notte Nostra that I am installed as the Prince of Montreal, and to that effect, we are here to help secure that goal. Now, it is necessary for us to work with Mr. Montcalm for some time. The Marquis does indeed require certain jobs to be done. However, ultimately, it is in our interest to control this mob city once and for all. The Kine mob has had their hand here too long, and it is our time now. So you will be working for us, specifically me, and rather than advancing your own goals, you will be working in service of mine. Is that agreeable to you?
Well, what's in it for me, and what the fuck are the goals? Obviously, you want to be Prince, but like, what's the structure underneath that?
I believe the structure is that you are, and you must forgive me, I'm not great at the turns of phrase of your particular language. I believe the word is my bitch. I will point at things I want destroyed, and you will destroy them for me. I will tell you things I want killed. You will kill them for me. I will tell you that I want particular things obtained, and you will obtain them for me. And you will do all of this with a wink and a smile, because I am your future now, Mr. Beef, and whatever freedom you've enjoyed here is quite done, I'm afraid.
Well, I appreciate the clarity. I think this is going to be a fruitful relationship. I've always been a fan of strong leadership, and it seems like you've got fucking brass balls, Gov.
Well, thank you. I'm glad to hear you are so agreeable. Your mother is such a nice woman. I would truly hate for my men to have to destroy her. But I do want you to know that is very much on the table. In fact, it is the centerpiece of the table. And if in any way you cross me, she will pay for it limb by limb.
Oh, yeah. And I mean, I'd hate to imagine, because, you know, she's getting on in the years, that if something just happened to her, then I'd have to blame you. And that would make such a mess, because I think I would make an excellent worker, you know? I fucking deliver. I fucking earn. But if things are going to get fucking messy, then it's going to be like, nah, you know, you don't want to bring family into it. So you look after her. I look
Of
after
course. And we will indeed. The old Notte Nostra had a rule about families, and it was a little quaint, and that is part of the reason they had to go, as you can understand. But yes, she will be safe and well taken care of as long as you continue to advance our goals here in this country. Eventually, we will need to return to the motherland and deal with certain elements of the organization that are still hanging on rather tenaciously. I have my own masters, as you now have yours. But in the meantime, as long as you are a good dog, no harm shall befall your mother. And we don't particularly care about the company you keep. You may keep this coterie or find a new one. It is really of little interest. You seem to be the most capable. Of course, Miss Dunn seems to be rather useful in her own right. I believe it would be in your best interest to keep her on side, as it were. She can open some doors. Also, it is truly sad, as you know, Ridley, to watch an immortal be ripped apart. And we would hate to see anything happen to her, because a lot could happen over a very long time. So, all that to say, this is the beginning of a beautiful friendship. Now clean up this room, if you would be so kind, as your friend continues to talk to his, pet. And we will have orders for you soon. I understand you are on a mission for the prince, and it would not do to interrupt his duties. But once you have accomplished that, we will be in touch. We have much for you to do. And then he pats you on the head.
Right, I'm looking forward to it, you know? I think I'm going to like working for you. And Ridley just reaches up and pats him on the face twice. He's like, you got a way about you. It's just fucking entrancing.
You just have to promise not to fall in love with me. I'm sorry, that is a joke I saw in a movie once. It is... I find Mr. Tom Hanks very charming. In any case, thank you, Ridley, for being so... receptive to the new way of things. The Notte Nostra thanks you for your service. And, well, given that we now know how you feel about Mr. Stone, perhaps you will find a gift delivered to you upon the successful completion of your mission for the prince. I'll just have to make a couple of calls.
Oh, that would be greatly appreciated. You know, thank you. Thank you. What a lovely start to a bright future that will last for eternity.
Gonna need a fucking hard deception check there, pal. So this is subterfuge. And I'd give you manipulation or resolve. Because the thing is, based on the way Ridley goes about these sorts of things, I feel like it's one of those, like, it's not a threat, it's a promise situations where it's like, oh, no, I'm not bullshitting you, man. This is going to be great. Until I use you like a puppet.
The only other way I would pitch it is, would you consider a streetwise if Ridley knows that he can't fuck around until he's got some leverage?
I would 100%. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Because I was like,
that,
I think
that actually
Ridley's...
makes more sense than subterfuge, 100%.
Yeah,
he's the guy. This is your, like, yeah.
Yeah, he'll toe the line right up until he can figure out where he could break it.
Yeah. Also, like, there's also something I think kind of fun in the idea that obviously if they're, like, pulling this on you, they're also aware that you're not malleable. So it really is, like, the streetwise check is, like, with the two people smiling, like, spy versus spy, like, shaking hands with a blade behind their backs. It's very much like a, is this agreeable enough that we can both walk away being like, cool.
Three successes, one of them is a 10.
Okay. The 10 will put you up and over because that counts as 2. So good work. Oh, wait, no, sorry. You need 2 10s to count as 2. So you have 3. Ryan, I'm going to get you to push this. What would Ridley say? You can tell that he isn't fully convinced. You're being a little too malleable. What would Ridley do to try and seal the deal on this?
Before we go any further, though, I'm going to need proof of life on my mum.
And he kind of like looks at you and goes, oh, yes, of course. It is natural to miss one's mother. I think I remember. One moment. Well, perhaps would you like to dial the number? And he hands you a burner phone.
Sure, say it out loud, and I'll fucking punch it in.
Oh, you do not have her number. That's fine. We will use mine then. So he puts that phone away, pulls out an iPhone, and just like very quickly like thumbs the thing in. We see there's a brief exchange where he just says, yes, Ridley would like to see his mother. If you wouldn't mind just pointing your No, you have to hit the little arrows that point in a little circle to flip the camera. Oh, no, we are still seeing your face, Brendan. Brendan, I'm still seeing you. There you go. Okay, now point it at, thank you. There you go. And he turns the camera around, and you can see a sort of like a bungalow, just kind of in what looks like a suburban neighborhood. And your mom is just like, the sun's just starting to go down. She's out on the front lawn, just fucking giving it to someone who has slightly blocked her driveway. Like, even at this distance through the window of a car, you can just hear like, I don't care if you're delivering for fucking Amazon. Like, it's just this whole like tirade. And she's just in like an incredibly like plush like bathrobe over just like fucking ratty negligee. It's just like very much your mom, where it's like the cozy piece is very fancy, and then everything else is just kind of whatever she's got. She doesn't look harmed in any way, but there is very clearly a car kind of on call. Can you roll me an awareness and wits, please?
Two successes.
Just beyond her, you can see kind of a large gray shape. And I think, because obviously you're playing the angles, as soon as you identify that this is now, that your mom is clearly alive, I think you do that thing that like Liam Neeson does when he gets taken, or when he's talking to his daughter about being taken, and I believe Taken 1, where it's just like start counting your breaths, like I need all the things, before he's like, throw a grenade on this parking garage and I'll know how close you are.
Movie 1, where he tells her all the things she needs to scream while she gets kidnapped. Yeah.
As opposed to movie 2, where, grenades, come get me and Xenia on a top, out of here.
15 cuts to climb a fence.
Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of step stools involved. So you start trying to take in as many details as you can. And unfortunately, the car is just like a standard fucking shitty rental car. Could be anywhere. Last time you talked to her, you told her to kind of get the fuck out of Dodge, so she could potentially be anywhere. But you clock that the sun is going down, and as you focus on the grayish shape beyond the house, you could swear it's a mountain in the far distance.
Okay.
And then he says, "Thank you, Brendan. That will be more than enough. Also, Brendan, in future, when I call you, please read the user manual on your phone. This is very embarrassing for me. I'm doing we'll talk about this later." And he just hangs up and he says, again, the adages are true. Good help, terrible to find in most places. I believe that is how it is said. In any case, as you can see, your mother is doing quite well. Although she does seem to be rather angry with the delivery person, which does not seem to be their fault. Are you contented with this?
Well, I mean, as contented as one can be. You like to be sure of the situation you're in before you commit in real direction.
You see, that little hint of rage is what I was missing before. I was worried you were going to just play that this was all fine. I understand it is stressful, and I do apologize, Mr. Beef. This is not at all what we wanted. I just understand your loyalty to the previous ways. So thank you. You have proven to me that you do, in fact, understand, but also that you will help because you understand what is going on. So, when your friend is done talking to his human pet, you can leave unharassed. I will give you one of my burner phones. It is like exchanging business cards for our kind. Yes, here you are, and I will reach you when I need you. In the meantime, good luck with your mission. I hope whatever the prince has asked you to do is not too taxing. I myself must go and see if I can
secure a corporate sponsorship for him. It is not fun, but it is what has been asked of me. So it was a pleasure to meet you, and I am going to go attempt to get us a deal on rental vehicles. Goodbye, Mr. Beef. We will talk soon.
Bye.
And with that, he leaves, and as he goes, he kind of like looks to the cops to make sure everything's fine, and when they nod, he just kind of nods at them and goes to make his way out. Everett, you finish telling Billy what you need to, and Leela distends the veins, just kind of sucks them back into her hands, and she says, were you able to communicate properly with your friend, Mr. Fry?
Yeah. I think so.
Good. By our accounting, it should take another few days, but then she will awake. We can certainly let you know if you would like, or you can just track her down at your convenience.
Say, this is this is an important person to me. I'm just worried about, when you're done with her, what happens.
And she smiles sadly and says, Mr. Fry, you are perhaps too newly turned to fully understand the role of kine in our ecosystem, but the reason they are called that is because they are as cattle to our kind, ultimately. This one, and she kind of like strokes the side of Billy's face through the cast, revealing a quick glimpse of like the veins, and says, this one matters to you now, but when you've lived long enough, they'll all just be faded memories. As far as I know, there's no ill intent toward her, but I also am not exactly high up the chain here. It is the vampire mafia, sir, and what they choose to do is rather beyond my ability to intercede. That said, from everything I have seen so far, they seem committed to bringing her back. They are very curious about this creature that attacked her, and, well, the others all went stark raving mad before they could respond.
Come on, why would you wait till now to tell me that?
From what we understand, she is perhaps the most aware of our society. It would seem the anarchs and their like have ruined the masquerade enough that she might be somewhat aware. I think it might mean that she can actually understand what she saw. Am I incorrect? Should I tell them?
No, she's got a firmer grasp on things than the average person.
Then she should be fine. Depending on the card, of course. And she taps the deck.
I don't suppose cards could shed some light on that right now.
She smiles and says, of course, I would be a tremendously bad medium, I suppose, if I didn't draw a card for you. She begins to shuffle the deck, and she pulls a card, which I'm going to grab from a randomizer. Let's determine the fate of Billy Kincaid, shall we?
Jesus Christ. This is terrifying.
She flips the card to reveal the Seven of Wands, a card of rather large import, to which she responds with kind of a sucking of air through her teeth. And she just says, I'm glad you had a chance to speak to her.
What? Why? What is that? I thought it would be like hearts or spades or something. What is that?
Goodbye, Mr. Fry. And she picks up her deck and leaves.
Well, did I see what it was?
It was the Seven of Wands.
Yeah, I saw that as well. Okay.
Yep.
I'm just going to commit that to memory and try and figure out what to do with that.
So with that, I'll say, like, Everett, based on the people you know, I mean, obviously you could Google it, but you really feel like Dederick is probably someone who like knows tarot pretty well.
I was thinking of asking Sorka and Fiona as well, maybe.
Also a good bet. And Mr. Ken might have like the weird Reddit version of it. So you have a few different angles on it. Dedrick can probably give you the pop culture one. Sorka and Fiona can give you the probably the more spiritual side of it. And Mr. Ken can give you like the like r/tarot version of it.
Okay.
So having heard this ominous card read aloud, you step out into the hallway to join Ridley. And in silence, the two of you make your way to the elevator where you finally have privacy. As the doors close, you have your first moment alone together.
Everything all right with you and, what was it, Mr. Black back there?
Oh, no, it's pretty fucking bad. So he took over the vampire mafia. He claims I'm going to be his servant now, and he's got my mum. So a bit of a fucking disaster there. On the bright side, he's fucking stupid. Like, he's very dangerous, stupid. Because in the business, what we call men like him is he's an hammer, you know? Comes in, fucking crashes things. However, when you're an hammer, everything looks like a fucking nail. If he'd come in and said, I killed your old boss, you work for me now, build a little kingdom, I'd have fucking done it. I talked to the lady for fucking 10 minutes and I was on a plane and I'm here. Basically, just running out of fear. If he promised me anything, I'd be fucking loyal. However, he kidnapped my fucking mum and said he'd kill her if I wasn't his fucking bitch. I'm going to rip his fucking balls off and shove him so far up his ass, he'll taste his own fucking balls before I stake him. But short term, I'm going to have to fucking play the game. Now, I'm going to test. I'm testing him. I'll test him. He told me I had to clean up a fucking dead guy in a room, and I didn't do it. And the reason why is, here's how I get fucking clever. If he hurts my mum because I didn't do a fucking chore, I know he's a cunt and he'll kill her anyways, and I'll fucking slaughter him. But if he gives me a lecture and he threatens to hurt her, then I might be more fucked because it turns out he's clever. And if he's fucking clever, this could all go to dog shit. I'm going to need you and the cops. We might have to deal with fucking DeSantis and try to get him to give me some private military contactors. I don't know. I watched a fucking documentary on that Blackwater shit and they seem fucking mean. Fuck.
All right.
How's Billy?
This episode of Blood and Syrup features the voices of Ryan LaPlante at the Ryan LaPlante on Twitter, Tyler Hewitt at Tyler_Hewitt on Twitter, Megan Miles at Meggie Miles on Twitter, and Storyteller Tom McGee at McGeeTD on Twitter. This episode's sound was edited and mixed by Laura Hamstra, and all of Dum Dums and Dice's logos are by Decapitated Markers at Decapitated Marker on Twitter. That's MRKR. Our theme songs are What's Really Going On Right Now by Chase Allen Willis and Traffic by Kai Engel, and all our ads use the tracks No Control and Chiefs by Jazzar, that's JAHZZAR. All of their music is available on freemusicarchive.org. When it comes to Dum Dums and Dice, you can visit our website at dumdumdice.com. Our Twitter and Instagram are at dumdumdice, and on Facebook at facebook.com/dumdumdice. We've also got merchandise at redbubble.com/people/dumdumdice, and most importantly, you can join our Patreon of Darkness at patreon.com/dumdumdice. That's DUMBDICE. Sleep well, children of the night. Spooky.
Dum Dums and Dice has to give a special thank you to the supreme beings of our Patreon at this time. Christian Menicola, Long, The Half-Blind Prophet, James Cuellar, Charles Grams, Christopher Little, Sue One, George Dolby, One True Artistry, Orion Birchfield, Lord of Bradovic, Noel Lewis, Scott Garland, Anthony Griffin, Chet Awesome Laser, Jordan Neesmith, Benjamin V, Gavin and Abby McDonald, Taryn Hefner, Cade Peters, Richard Cranium, Christian Mendez, Anna Zed, Fire Unfriendly, Logan, and Jill and Noel LaPlante. If you want your name to be added to this list, you can join our Patreon too at patreon.com/dumdumdice. Thanks to them, and a little bit of thanks to you.